Hello everybody, SlimKirby here, and welcome back to the Animal Crossing Let's Play. You are currently watching the abridged portion of this playthrough, where I cut out all the fluff and simply talk about my adventures of playing through an entire year of Animal Crossing in a summary format. If you'd rather watch the playthrough in its entirety, check out the video description for a link to a playlist that has all the episodes and stream sessions I've done, raw and unedited. But if you'd rather stick around for these videos, well, just sit back and enjoy my adventures through Popstar. Thursday, April 10th. This morning I checked my mail, and after looking at a message from the Happy Room Academy, I found out that I lost 70,000 points overall, going from 110,000 to around 40,000. Yeah, that Harvest series gave a lot of points, didn't it? Strangely enough though, in another one of my classic segues, this was not the biggest loss we experienced today, because our very own Rainbow Rhoda decided it was time to pack up and go. Wow, that's the second chicken that we cared about that has decided to fly the coop here in Popstar. And sure, although Rainbow never quite reached the same status as Ava 67, she still became a nice fill-in for that void. She honestly has a pretty cool design and did manage to give us a few clutch catalog items when we needed them the most. Rhoda also just so happened to be another chat favorite of YouTube user and stream frequenter Rainbow Road, which, geez, I wonder why. I wouldn't say they influenced the nickname or anything, but I do know they enjoyed Rhoda's screen time, and I knew that they were going to be sad when they found out the news. After all, I like to consider the people in my chat to be part of the same journey I'm on with this playthrough, so when they lose someone significant, let's just say that I kinda know how that feels. Anyway, thank you for your time and service, Rhoda. You've been here for almost a third of this playthrough, and it won't be the same without you. I was really surprised with our next villager move-in, though, because Sahara, the very same camel who has been giving us carpet for this entire playthrough, has decided to move into Popstar. I guess since we bought out her entire inventory, she felt like she could finally retire from the merchant life, and I guess she picked our town because we have good taste in her wares. Okay, actually our new neighbor was Carmen the Mouse, but it was pretty funny to see Sahara wandering around when I was going for the initial neighbor reveal. But yeah, we have a new mouse in town, and she seems pretty decent as a snooty. Plus, considering she lives next door to another mouse who isn't a snooty, I suppose this could increase some tension here, so we'll have to keep our eyes out on that. In addition to Sahara, we also had Gulliver, but he was also in the business of duplicates today, unfortunately. As for other interactions, Bill once again got the brilliant idea to paint our house. However, unlike last time, he didn't ask for what color we wanted, so this sounds like a pitfall-worthy offense to me. I also noticed that Vlad got bullied out of his Daisy shirt today by Jeremiah, or to be more specific, he was bullied into wearing a shirt, and he just didn't seem too happy about it. So this easily called for me to acquire another one to help him feel more naturally free with his nude found. Wait, did I just say nude found? I mean, I guess that works, he was enjoying the nudist life. There's a Freudian slip I wasn't expecting to keep in the script. Anyway, he seemed happy with his new lifestyle of being a naked bear, so I ordered another shirt for him from the catalog. That's what friends are for, right? Supporting their interests. Friday, April 11th. My notes literally say need info for this day, which is a sign that nothing major happened today. I did get a response back from Freya in regards to my wingman efforts for Ringra, and whoa, she actually responded positively to the letter. Huh. I guess Freya and I were never meant to be after all, but that's cool because now one of my friends can be happy with her instead. I also sent Vlad his replacement Daisy shirt so he can be nude again, which, that sounds incredibly confusing out of context. And although this happened literally 3 weeks after the daytime stuff, I also had a Wisp session where I got another Gyroid. That's really about it. Saturday, April 12th. I don't think Vlad appreciated the letter I gave him. Not only was his response kind of nonsensical and irrelevant, he kind of just told us to clean our room afterwards. Yeah, awakened nudists can be really weird sometimes. You know what's really weird though? Having a house with 5 toilets. Because that's what our friend Billy has going for him at his household. They're not even technical bathrooms either. I mean, I guess there are dividers for some privacy, but there are no actual doors, so awkward. I don't even want to think about the smell of his place either. So, yeah, I don't think we're gonna have any house parties here at Billy's house. That would be a big pass in my book. For this week's Town Tune, I went for something that I was actually kind of surprised that I hadn't used yet, in terms of series. Name that tune. And for KK Slider this week, I went for Cafe KK, in which I should mention that for some of these song titles, the ones that have letters with accent marks, you do need to have the right letters with accents in the title in order to get the right song when making requests. It is that picky with it, so be warned. Sunday, April 13th. Turnips were actually at a fairly decent price this week, but I decided to pass once again on them because even though it wasn't at a bad price, I wouldn't say the price was super ideal either, and I wanted the most bang for my buck this week. On the subject of businesses though, Nook did have a carpet sale today, but since I have all the carpets, I decided to pay Nook with nothing but lip service to show my lack of appreciation for his tomfoolery. Get it? Because his name is Tom? Also, Cookie wanted me to help her with a ball quest today, and while I sprung into action and got my girl exactly what she wanted, she started talking about kicking me instead of the ball. Oh god, what kind of a relationship have I gotten myself into? I quickly wrote her a letter in an effort to maybe bring her, let's just say, affinity for rough stuff down a bit, as I'm not someone who does well with physical pain. Monday, April 14th. Today with my item code, I decided to get the Lil Bro shirt, also known as the Luigi shirt. And with this acquisition, believe it or not, we're actually done with all the common shirts in the game. We're not done with this section of the catalog though, as Gracie still has some stock for us to get, but still, we're on our way to complete this part of the catalog as well, which is a nice feeling considering the clothing log is probably one of the bigger catalogs in the game. Not much really happened today though beyond that honestly. Gulliver showed up, but nothing new was obtained. I thought that Matilda looked like an Umbreon at one point, and I offered Bill 600 bells if he would drink from a random watering trough. See, nothing really that exciting. Tuesday, April 15th. There was actually a very interesting glitch that happened to me today. I decided to order one of the balloons I hadn't obtained yet from the item codes, the green balloon, and when I was given the item by Nook, he ended up giving me a green balloon furniture item. Now, the weird thing about this is, the green balloon is not a furniture item, but rather a hold item, like one of our tools, since you can run around and carry it like a decoration item. You can put it down in your house and it'll act like a furniture item, but that's not its main functionality. However, because it was given the identity of a furniture piece, I couldn't actually hold it, which confused me. I went back to my house and put it on the floor, and afterwards when I picked it up again, it did become a balloon like it was supposed to be, but yeah, really weird glitch. Heck, it's still saved in my catalog as being a green balloon acquisition too, and this was before I even put it down, so I guess the game just kind of forgot what it was supposed to be or something, or this is just a byproduct of trying to score items through the store codes. I really have no idea. Aside from that though, just a few neighbor interactions here and there. Freya got mad at me because I claimed the year of the cat happened before the year of the dog and the year of the rat, when in reality, the year of the cat does not even exist. Unless you want to claim that Tiger is the cat year, but I don't think that's what the game was going for. There was also a lot of anger and negative moods going on in Acre C5, the acre with Matilda, Jeremiah, and Vlad, and I think I ultimately deducted that Jeremiah and our nudist bear friend were not getting along very well. That, or Jeremiah just does not approve of Vlad's nudist ways, which is pretty fair, I suppose. In better news, it does seem like Penny and Carmen are getting along, despite being on the opposite sides of the personality matrix. I like to think that they bond over being cheese-loving mice, and in some respects, I can totally relate to that. Cheese is awesome. Wednesday, April 16th. For today's item code, since Sahara was visiting, I decided to go for another red item, and the item I landed on was the legendary Hinangyango, or however the hell you pronounce that. Let me just say though, as cool as this item was, it took up a lot of damn space. Basically a 2x2 item like the moon, so I couldn't really find a place for it in my house. even the basement for that matter. Still though, it was an interesting pickup to say the least. Didn't do much beyond that though. I wrote Carmen a letter to lock her into staying in Popstar for a little bit longer, and I also wrote Vlad as well, but I decided to go with a Simpsons reference for his letter because I think I was making Fat Tony jokes during the stream or something. I also had a very quick Wisp session tonight as well, and as you might expect, we got rewarded with another Gyroid. How special. Thursday, April 17th. Another pretty quick and bland day. I did get surprised with a random 30,000 bell bag in the gold spot, which I definitely wasn't expecting. Usually if I get a higher bell amount, it's from 10,000 bags, not 30,000. But aside from that, I just did my usual routine. I talked to Cookie and did a quick favor for her, and got extremely disappointed by getting a bunch of Gyroids today, none of which were new ones. Friday, April 18th. Not only was this another very quick day, but the sequence of events wasn't very interesting either. Cookie was starting to get a little distant with me, calling me a motor mouth in the process, and Vlad had a very strange obsession with bean burritos today, which no idea where that came from. Aside from that, I just wrote a few letters and did manage to get Caesar with another pitfall, which was probably my only victorious moment today. Saturday, April 19th. Man, things have just not been super interesting lately, but at least today had a little more going on than the last couple of days. Nook did have another crappy shirt sale, which, yeah, the adjective I used pretty much speaks for itself. I did at least use an item code for the last balloon item I needed though, and thankfully it didn't do that weird glitch like what happened previously this week. As far as neighbor interactions for the day, it seems like Bill and Cookie are starting to show really strong bonds of friendship. And you know, that really doesn't bother me too much, because it seems like Bill has been cooler to me lately. It's almost like I need a girlfriend in order for Bill to be nicer, because I didn't really have any issues with him until Cherry left, and now that me and Cookie are dating, he's not as harsh as he used to be. It's an interesting dynamic for sure. I wrote letters to Sally and Vlad today. Sally because, well, why not? And Vlad because I'm still trying to get him back into that nude Daisy shirt. Why am I so obsessed with this bit again? I have no idea. Oh yeah, we have music stuff today as well, so here was my town tune. Name that tune. And for KK Slider, we lamented with some KK Lament. Sunday, April 20th. Despite 420 being an incredibly lit day, today we actually give a farewell to a resident who's been with us for a very long time. Debuting all the way back from Session 1, actually. And before those who are binging the series from the beginning, don't freak out, it wasn't Lily. We actually lost Penny today, our very first Popstar move-in, and it was kind of sad to see her go. Admittedly, she didn't have a lot of jokes, gags, bits, or memes associated with her, aside from maybe her one coin catchphrase, but she was always really nice, sweet, and again, she was here for almost 300 days, which is really quite impressive on her own. So, safe and happy travels, Penny. May your future homes be as fortunate to have you as we were here in Popstar. Penny's departure will open the gates for some new peppy villagers, though, and as you know, I like my peppy villagers. You know what I also like, though? Oranges and cats. And that segue can only mean that we have a new villager in the form of Tangy. Tangy is basically a feline embodiment of an orange, and she is pretty cool. I've actually had her before as well in my Moe's Bar Town, so it's good to see her pop in again for another stay in my GameCube memory cards. I do find it kind of funny though that she decided to move into one of the Orange Acres too. Very appropriate for her, I must say. And Tangy is already making quite the impression in town too. Lots of my villagers let her borrow items from them, and most of the favors involved her as well. It seemed like Tangy and Freya are having a hard time getting along though, but it is Freya, and even she's had some issues with Lily before too, so this is nothing new for her. She'll just have to find a way to be nice and civil, because I do plan on keeping Tangy. Yep, she is definitely getting a letter from me. I did plant some flowers in front of Freya's house though, so that did help her calm down a little. And as far as other favors are concerned, I also got a fish for Dina, and I also gave an apple to Maddie, which I strangely had in my possession already. Really good timing, girl. I also wrote letters to Cookie and Bill, and in Bill's case, I gave him a bed because apparently his bed was stolen. The inside of his house definitely doesn't have one anyway, and I'd hate the idea of him sleeping on a bench, or even the floor, so we had to correct that ASAP, in the name of his very crooked spine. Monday, April 21st. I felt like it was time for another Able Sisters pattern, and of all the neighbors I had that didn't have a pattern yet, I felt like Freya was probably the next in line to get one, so I decided to make one for her. Now, this pattern actually took me a really long time to do, and given I did choose kind of a detailed character, so that's probably my fault, but I ultimately landed on Midna from the Legend of Zelda series. I've always been a fan of Midna, probably my favorite Link helper character, because despite being a bit mischievous and maybe a bit cruel at times, she has a pretty defined backstory that kind of explains all of that, and I felt like that kind of goes hand in hand with my experience with Freya in this town as well, so I thought it was a good idea. I even wrote Freya a letter after I finished the pattern, just to check in and see how her relationship with Ringra was going. I still need to write Tangy a letter to lock her in, so maybe I'll get to that tomorrow. Really quickly though, while I was still in the Able Sisters shop, I was actually quite humored by the toad pattern being put on an umbrella. It's funny how it looks like multiple toads being connected by one head. I also did a Wisp session tonight as well, and once again, as expected, I got another gyroid and not the painting I desperately need. Oh well, at least Red comes tomorrow, so I'll have another shot at it. Also, Copper fell asleep outside again, this time in the rain. I tried to sneak up on him with the net and give him a soft little bonk to nudge him awake, but he woke up before we could do anything. Probably for the best, as that could be interpreted in a very bad way otherwise. Tuesday, April 22nd. Well, it's time for another holiday, so say hello to Nature Day. I think this day is supposed to be represented as the real world's Earth Day, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least that's the only holiday that makes sense anyway. Regardless, though, it's another day where you just come in, nothing really happens, and you just talk to Tortimer for a tree model. And yeah, that's about it. Pretty underwhelming, right? Heck, it was so underwhelming that I accidentally sold the tree model when I went to Nook's shop without realizing. Oh well, it's literally just a smaller replica of a tree, really no different than the pink tree model or the snowy tree models we've received before, so no big loss. Gulliver also showed up today, but instead of giving us the last item we need from his collection, he just gave us another Maui statue, which resulted in me just quoting Moana for the rest of the day. I even wrote Vlad a letter referencing the movie as well. I guess you could say that when it comes to making random references, you guys just don't know how far I'll go. I also stopped in town later at night because Crazy Red was supposed to come by and I wanted another shot at getting the flowery painting we still need. We didn't get it, but a visit from Red means we do get to take another one of his items off of our checklist, so we at least got to do that and increase our chances for it during Wisp sessions. Wednesday, April 23rd. Another day where I really had to scrutinize my stream footage and find something to talk about. Although, I did manage it to some extent anyway. I felt incredibly teased and toyed with today, because after getting jerked around by Red not putting out the flowery painting again, Nook had 2 paintings available at his shop today. But of course, since he's not Red, neither was the painting I was looking for. I swear, that painting is either going to not show up at all, or it's going to be the literal last reward I get overall. I can seriously feel that. I also spent a little bit of time with Tangy today, since she's the new girl in town, and yeah, she's still pretty cool. Still haven't written to her yet, but I'll get around to it before it gets too late. Also, I proved to every woman in the world that I am not good boyfriend material when Cookie asked for a bug, and I decided to give her an actual cockroach. Hey, give me a break, she wanted a bug on a day it was raining, and that's like the easiest to find at this time of the year in these specific conditions. She could have at least waited until butterfly weather, come on. Thursday, April 24th. I started this day and this stream session with a KK Slider concert, but not in Popstar, rather in Pieces. The reason I did this was to get through all the KK Slider songs before the end of the playthrough, since there are more songs than there are weeks in the year, which means if we stuck to just Popstar concerts, we'd end up missing a couple. Anyway, we were treated to KK Ballad, and afterwards, I just ordered the song through the item code system. I mean, it's only fair, right? We did see the concert after all. Anyway, enjoy the music. Getting back to Popstar, I spent today doing neighbor stuff. I helped Carmen get a ball from the other side of the river. I found out that Biscuit is this day's item hoarder for some reason, which means he probably charmed everybody into letting him borrow all their stuff. And I actually played a really fun item swapping game with Freya. I don't think I'd actually seen this one before either, but it ended up with us just swapping items until I was tired of swapping. Could be an interesting one to do if I wasn't further along in catalog collecting. I also spent some more time with our new girl Tangy, who I'm convinced believes that she's an actual orange. She looks like an orange, she lives in the district with oranges, she uses a citrus umbrella, and she even gave us a freaking citrus carpet as a gift. God, I was surprised she didn't ask us for an orange when she gave us our fruit favor, but no, she wanted a cherry for some reason. I had to question her on her endgame here, so I finally wrote her a letter inquiring about all these citrus oddities. Also, me writing her a letter, remember that. This will be very important later on. Friday, April 25th. Well guys, it happened again. I got pitfalled by one of my neighbors, and this time it was Sally of all people. However, I don't know, I just can't see myself doing something in retaliation. Sally's not even one of my top tiers, but it just doesn't feel right pitfalling a girl. Unless it's Monique, of course. But she's pure evil, so no wonder. Not much happened today beyond that, though. It was a day after a rainstorm, which means we got gyroids, and I did find one not in my catalog yet, so that was something. And I did write another letter to Lily, showing her my appreciation to her divine existence. But that's about it, really. Saturday, April 26th. After Katrina's marathon of appearances back in March, or was it February? God, I don't even know anymore. Time is such a funny concept these days. Anyway, it's been a while since she was here, and she's back again. How about that? And hey, we have the money fortune today, so that's good. Well, it would have been if I hadn't checked the money rock right before visiting Katrina. Really gotta stop doing that. Pretty quick day though, all things considering. I got a Caterpillar t-shirt today for my item code, and I gotta say, even though I don't like bugs that much, this shirt honestly looked kind of neat. Plus, maybe if I wear it for long enough, I'll change into a beautiful butterfly, and then I'll be unstoppable. After all, no one expects the butterfly. Also, Wisp tonight, another gyroid, yada yada yada. As far as music is concerned, people are either going to really love this one or hate this one. Name that tune. And for KK Slider, we listened to Senior KK, another song that requires an accent mark in the title, so be careful of that. Sunday, April 27th. A very random, but not very eventful day in the Popstar timeline. There's a bit I can say, but not really in terms of a progression standpoint. Although, I've probably made that clear with a lot of these days anyway. We start the day with a letter from Lily, where she calls us Witty Slim. I like that cute nickname, so I'll give her one of my own and start calling her Silly Lily. Our second Katrina fortune is the Tripping fortune, which does really nothing for us, but I did discover that you can actually trip in Nook's shop while having this, something I don't think I knew beforehand. I also decided to try my hand at turnips again. I found another gyroid underground, slowly but surely taking those numbers down and bringing our chances of getting the flowery painting up, which is always good in my book, and then I decided to write Bill a letter referencing one of my all-time favorite Homer bits from The Simpsons. Don't worry, Homer. I still think that was one fine-looking barbecue pit. Also, our random discussion of the day was whether you prefer crunchy or soggy cereal. Now, I'm personally always in the camp of crunchy, as soggy just doesn't do it for me. But I did find out recently that some people do actually prefer the sogginess, and it's just better for them to digest in the morning, which I guess I can understand that, considering oatmeal kinda has that consistency, and that's always been a staple. I don't know, I just need that crunch in the morning personally. That's just me though. Sound off what you think in the comments. I'm kinda curious. Monday, April 28th. I've got nothing. I went around and talked to my neighbors a bit, but I wouldn't say there was anything out of the ordinary or super fun today. Bill asked me to do a favor that involved finding Curly, which I'm still not ready for, and I wrote Billy an interesting letter. I don't fully remember the context for why I gave him this letter in particular, but it ended with me needing to tell him not to eat the table I sent him. I don't know, he is an animal, which I guess could be a very real concern in that particular department. Tuesday, April 29th. Considering how strong April started as a month of activity, I was actually kind of disappointed how much of a slump I was in at this point. I mean, at the core, again, around 290 days and so many miscellaneous accomplishments finished at this juncture, I really shouldn't be surprised that we'll have days like this. But still, I just wanted to keep things interesting. Anyway, we hadn't gotten any pitfalls in a while, so I essentially sent Caesar a written pitfall, sending him a spam letter with a tumbleweed attached. And on the subject of letters, Bill responded to the Simpsons barbecue pit letter, but for some reason he started talking about KK Slider and how elegant he was as a guitarist. One of those moments where I just don't get or understand the movement from point A to point B. Also, Cookie tried to take my money again. Silly girl. Don't you realize that someday my fortune could be our fortune? I mean, I suppose if I did give it to her, that would still be true, but still, nah, not doing that. Wednesday, April 30th. Well, we are going to close off April with a surprising development, because 10 days after she moved in, Tangy actually decided to move out, which really surprised me. At first I was convinced I forgot to write her a letter because, knowing me and how my brain works, I easily forget to do things, but I did write her a letter on the 24th. This should have locked her in, considering how the entire playthrough has worked up until this point. But I guess the mysterious nature of the first Animal Crossing game still continues to elude me. Anyway, this loss was disappointing because I did really like Tangy, and I thought she could really bring a lot to the town of Popstar. But I guess this orange is heading off to markets. The housing markets. You know, because she's moving... bad joke. Our replacement villager, Pippi the Peppy Rabbit, is... I'm not too crazy about her based on first impressions, given we've had some first impressions change, if Ava and Rhoda are any indication. But I think the loss of Tangy has kind of soured my judgment here at first, so we'll have to see how she progresses over this next week. The rest of April's final day was a bit of a bust, although I suppose that's not too big of a shock considering the circumstances. Aside from NES games, we can't really get anything new from the raffle, and I swear, for like the third time, the raffle is trying to pawn off DK Jr. Math again as a prize, which I have already gotten. At least this means we'll get to item code an NES game tomorrow. Gracie was here as well, but she was also a bust, giving us the really cool Caterpillar tee from the other day. I mean, good reward, but my catalog already had it, which means more item code shenanigans over the next few days. For other interactions, we got a funny letter from Bill today, who for some reason thought it was necessary to throw shade at Dina's distasteful tennis playing, which I don't really know how playing tennis could be distasteful, but here we are. Cookie, Freya, and Carmen were all at the fountain today, which I guess makes this Pink Villager Fountain Day or something, but to me it looked like they were having more grief than fun, as mood seemed a little negative for some reason. Maddie was also in a bad mood, likely put in that position by Caesar, but after I talked to her, she actually stopped crying and went back to being happy again, which felt nice that I could make her feel better after she had to deal with that damn dirty ape. That will do it for another Animal Crossing episode. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Reminder that you can find links in the video description for the unedited recording sessions of this playthrough, as well as individual links to the streams in particular that featured the days covered in this episode summary. Until we meet again, this has been SlimKirby, and I'll see you guys next time. Later, folks.